movies.
Good. Anything else?
No.
Oh, God.
That's it. That's all I can pull out of my butt for today.
Sorry. This is an English essay.
Oh, I'm sorry. I got an F.
You got an F?
I'm going to get an F on this English essay.
Oh, I thought you meant you were going to get F'd.
Well, I wish.
I was like, how'd you know?
Did you have any teachers
that I would have slept with?
Yes.
Wait, actually?
Yeah.
Is that the question?
Yeah. Even though it would have been illegal.
I knew you were going to bring up the Spanish teacher.
Our one Spanish teacher.
Why is it always the Spanish teacher?
It's always the Spanish teacher.
What do you mean? Like, why is the Spanish teacher always hot?
Well, it seems like that's the one scenario that every person in the entire American school system can agree with. Like, the Spanish teacher was hot.
People like Latina girls.
Is that racist?
I don't care.
Okay.
I don't know.
All right.
Like, what's wrong with finding someone attractive? If that's racist, sign me up and give me my hood, I guess, because I find people attractive.
So, okay, here's the other thing I don't understand about that. Like, the people who think, like, oh, well, you can't find Asian women attractive, right? The people that think that are the same people that will then whine and complain if you say, well, interracial marriage should not be a thing.
They're also the people... You shouldn't have that take anyway.
I know, but my point is, like, they're both the same thing. Like, you can just find
You're saying you should just split people up is a bad take.
Yes, I'm saying, like, you can find someone attractive. What's the problem?
Right, I don't think there is one.
Yeah.
These same people get mad when I say that interracial marriage is bad.
What's the problem with me saying that?
These same people who want an abortion also think I shouldn't be able to JFK my neighbor in the dead of the night. Yeah,
come on, guys.
Definitely two very equal takes.
Why can't I say the N-word?
Right now. Huh. Okay.
They're the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah, they are. They
come on, guys. I just thought it'd be fun to say it with full R.
Can I play too?
Yeah, I was gonna go heal.
Oh, okay. You could just... Never mind.
That?
Yeah.
Okay. There we go.
I just thought...
But my point still stands. Is like, I don't get the problem. Like, you're just finding someone attractive.
It's literally the building right in front of you.
I need to know where I'm going there.
Okay. Machiavelli, a.k.a. Big Mac, is here.
Oh, I see she changed.
Secrets. I took the liberty of setting up a means of communication with your recruits. We sent orders via carrier pigeon.
Thank you, Machiavelli.
Bartolomeo sends his apologies. The French have doubled their assault.
Claudia.
Ezio.
All right. I have a plan to deal with the Borgia.
We can either go after supplies or Cesare's followers.
My plan is to attack both. If we cut off his funds, Cesare will lose his army and return without his men. So, I ask you, where does he get his money? Volpe?
Agostino Chigi is the Pope's moneylender, but Cesare does business with someone else. As of now, all we know is that he is called the Banker.
I know someone who owes the banker money. Senator Egidio Troche comes in all the time and complains.
Bene. I will follow up on that lead.
French soldiers are guarding the road back into the Castello. Once Cesare arrives, you will never get to him.
I intend to kill the French general. With him dead, Bartolomeo will have the Frenchmen on the defensive, and they will abandon their posts on the bridge.
Even with those troops gone, the Papal Guard will continue to protect the inner gate.
There is a side entrance. Lucrezia's latest plaything, Pietro, has a key.
He was at the Castello.
Come see me later. I will have my thieves ascertain his location.
So as a kid, I didn't understand the story of this game, and I don't know how. And you just asked me, what did I think it was? I didn't know. I thought it was all just going after the people who messed with you at the beginning, which it is. But I didn't understand, like, the intricacies of that. Does that make sense?
Right.
Like, I didn't understand, like, how we were doing so. I think just because I was stupid.
Well, I think we all were.
So that's to answer your question is, I guess I didn't really understand the story at all when I was younger.
Well, there's been so many things that I've gone back and played later on that... Oh, I would just send one person on that one.
That's what I'm doing.
That I remembered playing as a kid and thinking it was a completely different thing. Or I, like, didn't fully understand what that thing even was. And then I go back and play it later and I'm like, oh, this is completely different than what I thought this game even was.
Right.
Like, I've done that a few times. So I think just as kids, you just... I think the story in video games for kids was not usually as interesting. A lot of times kids are just like, I want to run around London.
Right.
Instead of like, well, what am I actually doing here?
Yeah. No, I agree with that. I think that that's kind of maybe was my problem. Is that I just was kind of like, I want to kill people.
Right.
Because I was basically young Dexter. You know the show Young Sheldon?
Yeah.
They were going to recast it for me
Okay.
to be that part, but that's kind of just how it worked out. Alright, let's leave the hideout.
Okay.
These people all got promoted.
Where are you going?
I am of no use to anyone without Forley. I leave to be with my children, and await the restoration of my lands.
I wish you would stay.
You are the leader of the assassins now. Unite them, Ezio Auditore, and take back Roma. Vittoria agli assassini!
Vittoria agli assassini.
I just don't get why she doesn't want the assassin's dick.
Right.
Like, why doesn't she want to see my creed? Why doesn't she want my hook blade to be unhinged?
Right.
You know,
Why doesn't she want... She could just be like the permanent prostitute of the Assassin's Guild.
Why can't I sink my DNA inside of her?
I don't know.
I'm just asking these questions.
Why can't you like full sink all over her face?
Right, exactly. That's a good point.
Right.
Why can't I full sink my you-know-what into her?
What is wrong with the two of you?
What?
What is wrong with the two of you?
What isn't wrong with the two of us?
Nothing. Nothing. To both answers. Alright, so there's
Some
got to
people
be
just don't get
something...
it.
What was that?
I said some people just don't understand.
No, they don't.
They don't get true comedy.
They don't. They don't understand it at all.
And
It's
I
ridiculous.
understand true comedy.
That's true.
I'm the exception.
Let's take this out.
Wow.
Oh, wait. On the way, there's a horse.
Is there another Rome Armor Brutus thing that Romulus, the Romulus layers that we can do?
I'm sure there is. Let me go look at this horse real quick.
Okay.
I need to get...
is
Ezio
a
goes
nice
and looks
horse.
between horses' legs for inspiration. To be like, how can I extend myself in the same way?
I do the same thing,
And
actually.
then he asks the doctors.
Right.
So.
And the doctors are like, well, I have a special treatment.
Do you think that Ezio, because he's always, like, getting with the ladies... And honestly, probably as an accepting guy, the men, too.
Right.
Do you think that he ever, gets, like, a... toy attachment for his hidden blade.
Mm-hmm.
So like
I
it
think
comes
so.
out, he can make it like come back out and in and out and in like that.
Right, I
kind of
think
like
so.
this, but like with a toy on the end. You know?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I think in Revelations he's going to ask Leonardo to actually invent the first dildo.
Okay. That makes sense.
I mean, we found out in 2 that Ezio invented coffee.
Right.
So, I mean, what's next? I think the dildo is the next step.
That was so stupid. When it was like, oh, it needs milk or whatever. Like I was gonna fix coffee.
Right.
There's like, I'm willing to suspend my disbelief on a lot of stuff, but some of that stuff is just stupid.
Yeah.
Where they're like,
I believe he invented coffee. Why are you being a disbeliever?
well, he
Are
was
you
like,
Judas?
it's a shame that I can't have more sex, but I'm always worried about people getting pregnant. And Leonardo's like, I've devised something to solve your problem. It's called the condom. And then he's like, I'm just having a hard time getting it up. When he's like in Revelations, like, I have designed something to fix it. Viagra. Oh, jeez, sorry.
What did you just do to that guy?
I GTA'd
Did you say
him.
JFK'd him?
I GTA'd him. I was gonna say that on accident.
I like the idea of Ezio inventing Viagra.
Oh, I like the idea of Ezio accidentally inventing JFK.
He invented, like, the concept of assassinating someone?
No. He invented JFK.
Oh, got it. Oh, what's the
Which are these? Oh, these are cheap.
what are the paintings we can buy?
Paintings.
Resurrection of Christ. Let's buy that one.
Okay.
I want to buy that painting. That's cool.
And Mond Crucifixion.
I don't know who
yeah,
Mond is,
Resurrection
but that's
of
cool.
Christ.
I don't want that one.
Also, who is that a self-portrait of?
Christ.
Okay.
He drew that.
Right before he ascended into heaven after 40 days, he like just quickly drew a picture of himself. He's like, here's a selfie.
Yeah, basically.
What if Ezio invented the first selfie?
What if Jesus was around today? What do you think he would think about our world?
I think Jesus would be a hardcore Republican, actually. Like, just hardcore, far-right Republican. Full conspiracy theorist, everything.
Jill said Jesus would be hardcore disappointed.
I think he would be disappointed.
We need more courtesans. What?
Like, we're talking about Jesus being disappointed. It's like, let's buy more whores.
They're not whores.
Yeah, they are.
Why do you
They're
treat
whores.
them poorly?
Because they're lesser class citizens than me.
Oh.
Anyone who sells their body is not worth my time.
Don't you sell your body by going to work every day?
No, that's different.
Oh, okay, got it. All right. What do you think when people actually look down on prostitutes as lesser people? Like, like throughout history, how people have been like less inclined to investigate their murders and stuff.
You know, in my honest opinion, I don't understand why they've been looked down upon, because to me, prostitution is no different. I mean, yeah, sure, it's dirtier work than, like, me going to the grocery store, for example, but it's not different in the sense that if I work at Cub as opposed to...
It's a little Minnesota reference.
I thought Cub is elsewhere.
Oh, is it? What's the shop quest? How do I get the shop quest? Can you help me
I don't know.
figure that out? Okay,
so if I work at Festival Foods, I don't know if that's more of a Universal.
Colborn's!
I don't know what is Universal or not.
Try Walmart.
If I work at Walmart or if I work at the strip club, I don't get what the difference is. Like, both of them are defeating to your psyche. Like, let's just be honest here.
What is the shop? It says, here's what it said. Look at this. I'm going to talk to you about what you said, but look at this. Armor.
Okay. Complete the shop quest to unlock this item.
What is the shop quest?
I don't know.
What is this shop?
Maybe we don't get it till later. Why is there like a gang fight going on outside? There's like actual like gunshots going off.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know how to get the shop quest.
Well, I saw it before, remember? We had seen like a thing about it.
No. I don't remember this.
And it's not in DNA. I don't want to sell that junk until I know how to do shop quests.
Right.
Because you said before, remember, we sold the junk and it was like, oh, we should have given that to the shop.
Yeah.
Do you see a Romulus thing? Is the other problem with this map is it gets too...
Well, the problem is half the map we can't even see because we can't get over there.
Okay, well, let me just try and fix that a little bit then, I guess.
So yeah, I guess I don't really understand. I mean, the thing I said about being defeating was kind of mean, but my point is, like, I don't get what the difference is. Like, you're going to Walmart to make money. You're working at the strip club to make money. Like, they're both just a form of work that, I guess, to me, I don't understand why people look down on it so much. And if people look down on it so much, why has all throughout history people been actively supporting that market? It's because people want sex. So what do? They go to a prostitute and buy sex. But then at the same time, people are like, that's disgusting, you dumb whore.
Well, isn't that like what that guy was like in the Scarlet Letter? Didn't he like sleep with that woman? Or no. Like, so he. Okay, sorry. I'm mixing up my things.
Are you talking about the Crucible?
Yes.
Okay.
The Crucible.
Yeah, John Proctor.
Didn't he sleep with some
slept
woman?
with Anna or whatever.
And then
was.
didn't he get upset about it?
Yeah.
And it's like, but you did it.
Right. And it's like, and that's my thing. Is like, well, you're the one that had sex with them, so you can't look down upon them as like lesser citizens. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, I don't know. I guess I've never understood it. Like, there's good money in prostitution, and it's because people are horny.
Well, and also, like, here's the thing. I think Christians get extremely high and mighty with that, too. But they won't admit that they're also looking at it.
Right.
Like, I have no problem with saying I follow a bunch of e-girls, and if they have nudes, I'll look at them.
Right.
I don't have a problem saying that, because, like, even as someone with, like, religious beliefs, I guess my religious beliefs are non-douchey enough to account for the fact that I'm not a perfect person and I enjoy sex, and I don't really, if that's a problem, that's no more of a problem than anything else that I do if that's actually bad. This is my whole thing with everything. Like, I'm extremely libertarian with stuff because of this, where, like, if you're not hurting anybody, I don't care. So, like, for example, even all the stuff with, like, LGBTQ, everyone always has to have some big-ass opinion on it and go, like, balls to the wall with, like, their hardcore moral stance.
Right.
I don't care. Like, I don't want people judging me and what I'm doing, you know what I mean?
Right.
So, like, why would I do that to everyone else? I don't want that done to me.
Well,
and
also here's the other thing for in the Christian sense, if what they believe is true and LGBTQ people actually are going to hell, like if that was true and everything, right? Like what they preach, why do you worry about it? Like, isn't that between them and God?
Yeah,
like
I mean,
God,
you'd think
like
so.
God in the Bible does not say, "Hey, Christians, persecute gays,"
or like go tell other people why they're bad.
Right? It's like
or
that's,
go out
that's
tell
not
other...
anywhere.
No, like that's not something that is.
So,
in fact, it's the opposite.
Right? Exactly. You're supposed to love people and maybe not love their actions. I agree with that. Like the Bible doesn't say you're supposed to be like, I love everything that everyone does, but it doesn't say you should judge people. Like, it's not even your job.
Right, that's kind of always been my thing with this stuff, is I don't understand. I think this is really a product of, like, European Christianity.
Yeah.
However, However, a conversation people don't want to have is that Islam is even just as, if not more, guilty of that.
Right.
Of that, like, judge people for how they live their life and treat them poorly for it.
Yeah.
People don't want to have that conversation because that's uncomfortable. But look at history; it is true.
Mm-hmm.
But then,
and look at these countries now.
Like, yeah, where that's
true.
used. It's
right.
used as a system of control.
Right.
And even the people who don't believe in the extreme versions of those systems of religion, they're still guilted into participating and supporting the state that does use that.
Right.
And even if your argument is, well, that's not loyal to the Quran, they're still using the doctrine and twisting it to treat people poorly.
Right, which is what the Catholic Church did.
Right,
has done.
But no one wants to talk about that.
Right.
Because it's uncomfortable, and there's like this weird idea that criticizing an ideology, or the people using, I think the better way to say it would be the people using an ideology to maintain control of a country, that somehow criticizing that is racist.
Only if it's not against Christians.
Well, and that's the thing that's weird to me, is like when people criticize Christianity, I don't think, oh, so you have a problem with white people.
Right.
It's an ideology. Like, I can't
right.
tell you the amount of black people I've met that are Christian.
Right.
That take it more seriously than white people. Like, when you meet black Christians, not always.
A lot of them are very passionate.
Yes, because, like, it's very much a source of hope and belief in the family structure in certain areas, you know?
Right.
And so when you meet them and you're criticizing Christians as a whole, you don't realize there's thousands of, like, black people going to church that, like, don't have much but give back what they have to the people around them just to help. Mm-hmm. And that's all they're doing. Like, they're not sitting around, like, judging people and being mean and stuff.
Right.
But, like, that's not the type of person you're judging when you say that, but you won't admit who you are, you know what I mean? You just use the umbrella term. Mm-hmm. Whereas, like, if I were to talk about Islamic extremism, just like if I were to talk about Christian extremism, the color of skin of the person who's the extremist is irrelevant to me. You could be a white Islamic extremist or a black Christian extremist, and if you're violent, I don't like your ideology.
Right.
I don't like it. I don't care what, I don't care, like, what color of the crayon pack most closely resembles your skin, no matter what it is. That just is irrelevant to me. But everybody makes everything about that because, like, that's... I don't know. I genuinely, I think it's because it's a shield to, like, avoid criticism.
Well, that's exactly what it is. To me, that idea has morphed in this country in particular, and in my personal opinion, it's literally because people are willing to die on hills and they're willing to justify and jump through a bunch of hoops so that they can further criticize Christians, is what it seems like. Because, so therefore they attach Islam with a skin color. So then therefore if you criticize extreme Islam, you're criticizing a skin color.
Right, which
but
to
it's
me
not,
is dumb.
Yeah, and it's like, but that's not what we're talking about here.
I mean, I would also criticize those people in parts of Asia, in Buddhist countries, who have committed hateful acts against Muslims.
Yeah, sure. I mean, the Muslims there was reports in China just recently that Muslims were being sent into camps. Like, Chinese Muslims were being sent into camps.
I just got a new update for this, by the
like
way.
hunted down by, like, they were being arrested, and I don't know what extent these camps are.
Well, they're being persecuted, like re-educate. Okay,
well, exactly.
Re-education camp.
And to me, like, that's wrong.
Right. It's a human rights violation.
Exactly.
And also, like, do you remember Disney recording Mulan near some of those alleged
yeah, I remember
sites,
that.
and then being like, "Oh, well, thanks, China."
Yeah, I remember that.
And then if you had a problem with that, it's because you hate Chinese people.
Right.
No,
it's just stupid.
Like, can't you hate a government?
No,
because like I can't tell you.
You can hate the American government.
I cannot tell you the amount of countries where I think the government is full of crap, but their people aren't.
Right.
Like, their people are just doing the best they can.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that some people would get angry about this, and that's fine. But, like, you can look throughout history at all kinds of places, in my opinion, including China, and see a lot of examples of that where the people themselves are good. They're good-hearted people doing their best where they are. I mean, you can even see this right now with Russia, where people in Russia completely disagree, on average, with what their government's doing with Ukraine.
Right.
Those people aren't the problem. And people say, well, why don't they revolt? Some of them have. They end up dead or in prison forever.
Right.
And it's like, they do speak up about it. And they do say something. It's just that there's only so much they can do.
Well, and the interesting thing is you see this in Nazi Germany, where the government was honestly pretty bad, like in the top 3 worst governments I've ever read about. But one of the most interesting stories to me is actually hearing about all the German people that were in Germany that would actively defy their own government to, like, hide Jews, for example. Or would go out of their way to basically smuggle Jews out of their country, which could get them killed, by the way.
Or you'd get thrown in a concentration camp and treated just like them.
But yet there's good people in Germany. And to be honest with you, there was a lot of people in Germany that didn't even know what was happening to them. They were told from the government that these Jews are basically just getting sent out of the country. Is literally what they were told. So a lot of people just were like, okay, fine. So they're just getting shipped to, like, Austria, for example. Fine. What's the harm in saying, yeah, there's a Jew over there? You know, that was, which, yes, I know is bad in itself, but it's not like, you know, they knowingly were like, oh, they're being murdered. You know, they just thought, like, oh, they're just being sent out of the country, whatever. And to me, I'm not justifying that actions, but what also bothers me is when people blanket term Germans during World War II as if, like, they all were bad like this. And it's like, well, there's plenty of examples of German citizens that either were good people and actively went against the government, or legitimately had no idea what was going on, and as soon as they found out, they were, like, appalled. Because they literally just didn't know.
Isn't there a famous painting where there's, like... Or maybe it's not painting, I thought it was a picture.
Yeah.
Where it was, like, taken right after some of the German infantry, like, lower-level German...
Yeah, the Wehrmacht.
People were told what was happening.
Well, yeah, because after the Allies went through Germany and basically liberated the camps and everything, they obviously took pictures and stuff like that as they're going through. And there's actually a picture of the Allied soldiers showing like a slideshow photograph of some of the pictures they took in these concentration camps, and you can actually see like the disgust on their face. Like a lot of them are bawling, a lot of them just basically have their mouth open like they can't believe this stuff was going on.
Right.
Because a lot of them just literally didn't know.
Right, they were just fighting for Germany.
Yeah, they just thought, like, they literally just thought Hitler is trying to unify German people. He's trying to unify these people groups because all the early places he was invading, like the Danzig and Poland and, you know, parts like that, they were all, like, historical German land with still native German people in there. That basically that land was taken from them, a lot of it having to do with the post-World War I stuff. Mm-hmm. So a lot of those soldiers just thought, oh, well, we're basically reunifying Germany.
Right. Just taking back our land.
Right. These are our people, because they were German people there. And they just thought, like, yeah, we're just taking back our land. Oh, now the French and the British are attacking us. Well, we got to fight for Germany. That's what they thought.
Right.
And it's just, I don't know, it's one of the biggest misconceptions to me is because there's a complete difference between Yazis and Germans.
Right.
There's a lot of German people that were not Nazis, and they hated it.
Well, I think one of the most disappointing misconceptions to me is World War I.
Yeah.
Where people think that was a war about Nazism.
No.
And no, it was about trade routes.
Right. And in fact, Otto von Bismarck, the Chancellor of Germany in World War I, after the war, basically he had to go into hiding when Hitler came into power. He straight up fled the country and had to go into hiding because Hitler was going to kill him.
Right.
Because he straight up, Hitler thought that Bismarck was a failure. He thought he failed to unify the German people, and he saw him as like a traitor to the country because he failed. Mm-hmm. And Bismarck did not like Hitler, so he fled the country because he knew he would be killed.
Right. Because he was, like, Hitler was... He's pretty much like the biggest nationalist of all time.
Right. Yeah, he was.
And essentially, I mean, he's the example people point to of why nationalism is bad, but really it's not even that. It's...
This guy took it way too far.
Right. It's not like national pride. It's like, we're the best, but only certain ones of us.
Right.
And anyone else get out of the way or get dead.
Right.
And really, he didn't even give them the option to get out of the way because to him... He eventually wanted Germans to control the entire world after a certain point. Mm-hmm. Like, early on, yeah, you're right, because we've had this conversation before, that didn't seem to be on the agenda.
Right.
But as that guy lost his mind, because he became more and more mentally unhinged,
right,
it went from just Germans should control Germany to Germans should control all of Europe to Germans should control the entire world.
Right.
Which is why, like, slowly, you know, you weren't having this... move the Jews, or you weren't having this get the mongrels out of the way, as he like kind of refers to them, like the not full-blood Aryans.
Yeah.
Don't get them out of the way, because if you send them somewhere else, you'll just have to kill them there.
Right.
So instead it's get rid of them completely and exterminate them.
Would he get rid of me because I was too short?
Probably.
I don't know about that, but the way that his stuff was heading was to eventually eliminate disability as well.
Shortness is not a disability.
No, but I'm just saying, like, he was right, and he was like the way he was moving. No one wants to talk about this either, but the United States was actually moving a similar direction, which was through the use of like black labs and eugenics, which is what they were called, was to create perfect soldiers, and was to sort of eliminate sickness and eliminate disability and eliminate get out of my way.
Okay, what is going on
Kind
here?
of eliminate the need for compassion by eliminating those who need compassion to survive.
Right.
That was kind of the way they were going was, well, we as a race will be stronger if we eliminate these things. And a lot of people don't want to talk about this, but the U.S. was actually interested in that from slightly before World War II. I would argue they still are in some ways. But actively practicing it on the governmental level all the way through, like, the 70s, with, like, trying to lower the birth rates in black communities by putting stuff in the food.
Right.
I mean, this is literally proven fact. But, you know, like, I think it's another one of those uncomfortable things that's, like, who really wants to admit, you know? Especially now in today's age, where if you do admit it, you'll be held accountable for it, even though you didn't do it.
Right.
Where it's like, well, because then by guilty by association, because your ancestors did this to my ancestors I never met, you're bad too. Well, now really no one's going to admit that happened.
Right, exactly.
Because they're just going to be like, no.
You need to be punished for that crime.
Right, because they're like, well, no, because like I have nothing to gain by admitting that because I have everything to lose.
Right.
I don't know. You want to be done?
Sure.
Okay. The world sucks.
It does suck. Except for me, I'm perfect.
I'll fix it, though.
I am perfect.
I'll fix it. Check out my website.
I am the exception to this rule.